Hi, everyone.
Hello again. In the Finnish Mystery, we're on page 132, still talking about the listing of the 144,000, which are said to be from every tribe of Israel, the 12 tribes. One we've already pointed out is missing, the tribe of Dan, which causes the writer, John, presumably, to double up on one of the tribes, the tribe of Joseph, right? Get to that next time. But here we're dealing with the other sons of Leah. So we've got Simeon, Levi, Issachar, and Zebulun all mentioned in this sequence. And let's see now, we've got, when you think of the number of the 12 tribes and the 12 original sons, it may not be remembered that 6 of them are actually literally sons of Leah. 2 of them are hers by her maidservant, and
Well, there's 6 that are from her, and 2 from her maidservant, and 2 from the other maidservant, right?
and then 2 from Rachel
and
herself.
then 2 from Rachel.
Yeah, but you don't notice that all of the big ones, that is the most important ones in the sequence of salvation within Scripture, are of Leah.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn some more about that here and discuss it and its implications for our understanding of Revelation 7.
Yeah. Although here they are again doing their ranking business based on the names, not the life.
Yes, as we pointed out last time, it's all about the worthiness, which, according to the way you interpret Scripture, is all built into the names. It has nothing to do with the character of the tribes that came from these 12 men, nor does it have to do even with the men and their merit.
Yeah. And what they do in their life.
So let's see what they do with it, with the names anyway.
Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Simeon signifies hearing. Because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. This suggests that the 7th place of honor is reserved for those who have been hated in their home circles because of faithfulness to the word of the Lord. That's arbitrary.
Who's the one who
Is hated
is heard here? It's Leah, isn't it? It's not the son.
No, it's Leah that's been hated.
So that's a scripture twisting already, and we haven't even got past the context of the original text, which is given as, because the Lord hath heard that I was hated. Leah speaking here. He hath therefore given me this son also. All right.
Yeah, still in Simeon, they say, the Lord saw that the beauties of their characters would only shine forth at the best advantage if they were made ready in just such environment. How sweet, how beautiful is the patient heart developed under such conditions. Yeah.
And now Levi.
Levi's name signifies adjoining. This time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have bore him 3 sons. Again, it's Leah. The next honor is apparently reserved for those who have literally sacrificed all their possessions in this world in order that they might be more closely joined to the Lord in his service. Well, that has nothing to do with the name or the children or what they did. Levi had no inheritance in the land as a tribe and as an individual. The only event recorded in the life of the patriarch is one of destruction of the unfaithful.
Oh my, this is outrageous. But there is a factual mistake here, really, of a sort, because it says Levi had no inheritance in the land as a tribe. Well, there's a part truth there. They had no tribal inheritance, i.e.
A lot of
land that was altogether conjoined properties of the families of Levi, right? No, they didn't have that, but they had 48 cities. They had a different kind of land inheritance. Not only did they have the cities, but they had the pastoral lands that appertained to those cities. So they did have an inheritance, but the bigger the outrageous part of this is you've turned the rape of Dinah and the subsequent events related to the rape of Dinah into what?
Into the destruction of the unfaithful ones. You know, this is pretty outrageous. Do you want to read that passage, or you want to finish off?
Well, let's see what they have to say about Issachar and Zebulun first.
Okay. Issachar signifies there is reward, or he brings reward. God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens, and he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear. This seems to signify the next honor goes to the zealous, those who joyfully undertake in the Lord's name and cause to work hard for the glory of his name. Nothing to do with the text.
As you just said about Levi, we only really know one thing, and it's about the rape story of their sister Dina. I'll get to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. But about Issachar and Zebulun, we know next to nothing.
Yeah.
They disappear, basically, and are assimilated gradually. The only tribes that really stand out as you go forward are Benjamin, Judah, Levi, and maybe one or two of the others. Ephraim becomes dominant northern tribe, but none of these guys are very significant. So you have to find something. And what you find is merit, as usual.
Yeah. And I mean, even this thing about God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. Are you thinking about the fact that, you know, by our standards, Jacob has 4 wives, basically. He has the one he chose, the one he got tricked into having, and then they give their maidservants to him as well. So the whole thing's a little distasteful to most of us reading the account.
You have Jacob's choice, who is not God's choice, because Leah, as we said last time, is plainly the one who has the lines, the significant lines. But then you have more human choices. You have Rachel's choice later. And she comes first, actually, but in this sequence, the orders change, right?
Yeah.
So there you have Leah's choice as to how sex is going to happen. It's going to happen with her maidservant. Yeah. And out of that comes these sons.
Well, no, these sons are after she's given too, and she feels these are a reward for having done that.
But Rachel's in the middle, is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel's 2 that were by alternate methods are in between all of these.
But even hers, like she has 2 by Gad and Asher through her maidservant.
And one of them is Dan, who's not even in the list.
And then she feels these 2 are a reward for having given her maidservant.
But even in that fact that you have Leah deciding how it's going to happen, and then you have Rachel deciding how it's going to happen, and you have Jacob deciding how it's going to proceed. Yeah. The only one who doesn't get a choice in any of this is God. He's not consulted.
Yeah.
But his choice is plainly Leah, because the 2 great lines, Levi and Judah.
And it doesn't seem to have anything to do with their being spiritual people or godly people. He just has a choice here. He makes a choice. He's
sovereign.
It's a grace for whoever gets whatever they get.
But the idea that God chooses and you don't is somehow offensive to the natural man. Yeah. And it's offensive to Jehovah's Witnesses to think that these people are not chosen because of something in them.
Yeah, because we have a hard time accepting grace. We would rather think that we were righteous enough that we deserve the reward.
Okay, now to the part that I found particularly offensive, and that's their use of the Dina episode. And this is in the Levi discussion, right? When they say that he has no inheritance, etc. And the only event recorded in the life of the patriarch is one of destruction of the unfaithful. Mm-hmm. And that's your takeaway from, you cite Genesis 34:25 to 29. Well, I guess it's deliberate that you leave off verses 30 and 31, which are the end of the chapter. Mm-hmm. How does Jacob respond to what they did? Does he think of it as the rightful justice upon the unfaithful? Mm-hmm. The execution of justice upon the unfaithful?
Yeah.
Well, let's just read the whole thing. This is the ESV version. On the third day, when they were sore, that is, the people who'd been conned into, the males of the town of Shechem had been conned into
being circumcised.
so they could join themselves in marriage to the Jews.
So there's deceit on top of violence here.
Yeah. On the third day, when they were sore, two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and came against the city while it felt secure, and killed all the males. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went away. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds, their donkeys, and whatever was in the city and in the field, all their wealth, all their little ones, and their wives. All that was in the houses they captured and plundered. Where is this? Even though you cite that last verse about the plunder, you don't acknowledge it in what you're...
Sacrificed all.
So you get the lesson is about Levi, of those who sacrificed all, including possessions and family. And this is the text you go to?
Yeah.
What does the rest of it say? What are the two verses that you've left out going to say, even about Jacob's reaction to all of this? Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me by making me stink to the inhabitants of the land." Some translations say, making me a stench to the people of the land.
That's what the New World has.
The Canaanites and the Perizzites. My numbers are few, and if they gather themselves against me, notice it's me, and attack me, I shall be destroyed, both I and my household. But they said, should he treat our sister like a prostitute? They're justifying wickedness by saying, well, they were wicked, so we did what we did. But Jacob doesn't seem to think that this was very wise.
Yeah.
They're teenage boys, yes, but he's chastising them. But even in the way he deals with it, does he have any sorrow for what's just happened?
For the people? No, it's about himself, so I do think stink is a good word for this.
And are these people unfaithful? Actually, the Shechemites come across better than the sons of Jacob in the story.
They're trying to be conciliatory to them.
They're not justifying the rape of their sister. They're actually trying to make some amends for it by saying, we will join ourselves to you in a covenant when they're murdered. So this is disgraceful, though, because this is just a token of what the Watchtower has always done with texts that need to be bent to agree with the narrative you've already got in your head, namely that the righteous get a just reward.
And I know some will say, well, this is old. This is way back in Russell's day. But really, have they changed their tune? I don't really think witnesses have changed their tune very much when it comes to that. And, I don't remember myself as a kid. I mean, I grew up as a witness. I was taught all these things, but I think there's instilled in you a kind of me against everyone else. So it's our group and all the outsiders. They're of Satan's camp. We're in God's organization. That creates a kind of coldness, I think, in the witness. He might not be totally aware of it, but I do think it makes you rather cold towards people who aren't in the organization. And it doesn't seem to weigh on you what you believe is going to happen to these people. They're all going to be destroyed violently in a great tribulation time, in a Armageddon. And you don't think about the humanity of these people. They're just enemies of God.
Well, so far at least, the Watchtower is not justified killing your enemies.
No, but they're rather cold when it comes to knowing that this is going to happen.
But they do justify murdering people's reputations.
Oh, yeah.
Slander, which is what that is, murdering people's names.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also justifying treating them like they're dead. And for me, there's a very fine line between justifying the killing of human beings and justifying their being treated as if they're not human.
Yeah,
and have no rights.
Because the pain of that for ex-witnesses sometimes is beyond being able to bear it.
So
Many people have such an emotional upheaval that they can't psychically bear it.
Well, Jerry Bergman, in his book on mental illness among witnesses, has talked about the high degree of mental
depression, illness.
Yes, every kind of mental issue that is found among people in cults, but especially among Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
And that's not got better. Bergman wrote that book, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
So has the situation got better? Not according to the people we've met.
I think it's much worse. I think there's a lot more depression because now they're facing the fact that it's still in the future and they're older. So it's wearing on people. They're tired and they're depressed.
Desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate.
Yeah.
So what they've done here, yes, they don't have a similar take maybe on the Dina story today, but the very fact that they could do this back then and twist it into somehow meritorious that Levi and Simeon went off and killed the entire male population of the city.
Destroying the unfaithful. Yeah.
What's our link?
We are linking to we'll put on the playlist for Genesis, and we'll put on the one individual video that was about Dina, the rape of Dina. What does this sad episode tell us about the chosen people and the Canaanites?
You might add to that, what does it tell us about Jacob's character?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the character of his sons, but Jacob's character and the way he responds to it.
And the other point, too, that we didn't mention was this act is what disqualified these two sons. Like when you hear his report, this is kind of what disqualified them in his mind from any hope.
Their fierceness.
Yeah.
He doesn't think of this as meritorious at all when he's on his deathbed.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See you next time.
Bye.